If you want an exposure to a market or an
Everything they need in one place.
Be the world's foremost authority on
Individuals, advisors and institutions.
Hello and welcome to the Morningstar series, Ask the Expert. I'm Emma Wall and here with me today is Simon Chinnery, Head of UKDC for JP Morgan. Hello Simon.
Hello, good morning.
So ever approaching are the pensions reforms coming in April. As we get closer, we're getting a little bit of more information for investors about what post-reform pension society will look like. What will it look like?
Well, of course, we don't know. And one of the things is that what is happening now shouldn't really be much of an indication for the future. For instance, we know that annuity sales have halved at least, certainly according to L&G and others. That doesn't mean annuities are dead. There is an absolute place for them. And there is more talk about people doing drawdown. The need for income in retirement clearly is absolutely paramount. But I think people feel a great deal of uncertainty at the moment. They don't know really what to do. Personally, I think that's a huge opportunity for the advisor community to engage not just at the point of retirement, but actually in the workplace as well.
You've mentioned there's been some product launches. I think this is one of those things where there's so much information out there for investors, it can be very confusing. Annuities have been tarred with the brush of evil, but I think it's important to remember, although compulsory annuity purchase being scrapped is a positive thing, because one rule for everybody is never the right way, annuities can still serve a place in a post-retirement world, can't they? Yeah,
I mean, I think that the reality is, as we move from a DB world, a defined benefit world, to a DC world, the pots are going to be a lot smaller. DC hasn't been around in the UK, as you know, for that many years. And so I think the need to be able to pay the bills and nothing else really has to be addressed through some level of security, and the annuity may well offer that function. We actually think that there is likely to be a mass market of defaulters effectively in retirement who still won't know what they want to do, but may need to continue to save, but with access to their money as well. But they're not going to engage, they're not going to suddenly become financial experts.
Because at the moment, annuities are the only product that absolutely guarantees an income in retirement. But of course, come April, there may be a slew of other products that will be launched that may be suitable for individuals.
Yeah, I think, again, this is a great opportunity for the advisor market to kind of cascade down from where they are familiar, which is the high net worth end of the market, towards kind of a mass market guidance, if not individual advice. And I think the opportunity here is that people will require income, as I said before, and I think the needs will be, how can I make my money last so I don't outlive it? And that's the biggest challenge, I think, for everyone in the industry. How do we manage money for these people so that they don't run out of money?
I think the important thing is we look at the pension industry and the pension changes as a whole, not just looking at pension reforms, but also looking at auto-enrolment. There's a lot more engagement in workplace pensions now, and I think there's an opportunity for the industry to not just zero in on those 2 years out of retirement, but actually take responsibility for the whole of the workplace savings journey.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very interesting in the US that the advisor community is really the dominant force there, and they're dominant because they moved into workplace really very early on in a way that the investment consultants weren't involved in, weren't engaged in, and they kind of grew up with these companies. And the point here is that they actually do things like retirement readiness planning many years before somebody comes up to retirement. And I think the advantage of that is that you have people more informed about what they're doing, and perhaps also they're actually saving more. I mean, that is the other big challenge, of course, because we talk about what's going to happen when people retire, but the fact is that the biggest challenge over the next 5-10 years is going to get people to save more so that they actually are in a position to be able to retire.
And that's good for the individual, but it also can be good for the industry, because if you have someone who gives you a helping hand along the way at 30, when it comes to 60, 65, 70 and you're looking for advice, you'll remember that person.
Absolutely. And I think, and I would say to the advisor community that it is a massive opportunity they've got here. And that the investment consulting world of the defined benefit, they're not asleep. They are already moving into this world. So I think that I think there is an opportunity to help fashion the way in which product might develop in the future as well, because I think there's no point in us as an industry creating 101 variations on product, which will just confuse, as you said earlier. A lot of people are uncertain. What is it that people actually want? They want income. They want some certainty. If they want full certainty, buy an annuity. I think that a lot of people will just fall into drawdown and fall into something that just says, I want my money as and when, and I want to invest it in a tried and trusted source.
And make sure that they are educated to be able to make those decisions.
Yeah, I think the big challenge that we have is that, for many, many years, if you speak to any pension managers, say the biggest problem has been engagement. Certainly in DC, because in DB you didn't need to be engaged, did you? So, I think again, you look at how many people in company schemes are in the default, 85, 90% of people. That for us is really the starting point to say, in terms of what we're trying to do, is deliver as many people to at least a minimum income replacement so that they are at least able to retire. And I think that as much as it's interesting to speculate about what will happen in the future in the retirement space, I think that we mustn't lose sight of the fact that there is a huge requirement for flexible, dynamic management of people's assets through the time in the workplace.
Simon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Emma Wall for Morningstar. Thank you for watching.